once again we come after Easter Day to the story of Thomas. I think he gets a bit of a bad reputation. Thomas the doubter. Now the other disciples, we know, weren't always great, but we don't have Judas the betrayer, Peter the uncertain, or even Mark the naked. We have Thomas the doubter. And perhaps that's because, as we chuckle, he reminds us of ourselves, of our own uncertainties, our own lack of faith, our own wonderings. Because perhaps doubt is just the other side of faith. Faith is not about being certain, being sure, but about believing even when we're not sure. Believing in something we cannot see, in something we cannot perhaps understand. Believing despite our uncertainties and our doubts. Believing regardless. So we have a story of doubting. A story which is perhaps about us too. And I find it interesting that when Thomas doubts, we don't have another story of Jesus appearing to Thomas on his own and saying, "Look, here I am." Rather, what we have is a story of the community together. Thomas joining that community and Jesus once again appearing. And this is not about Jesus proving that Thomas is a doubter or making a point of it. Rather, it is about once again showing the community of faith together who he is, that he is alive, that he is risen, as he provides Thomas with that opportunity to touch him, to see him. He once again gives the rest of the community that same opportunity. They see Thomas touching him. They see him talking with him. And once again their doubts are eased. Because perhaps too they have wondered. Perhaps after Jesus had gone the first time, they wondered, was it something we ate? Did we drink too much? Was it something else? Did we all just dream it? Was it real? But once again, Jesus comes amongst them, amongst the community of faith. Because it is not only as individuals, it is as a community of faith that we are called to follow that call, to go out, to take the story of who Jesus is from where we are, across our lives, across our worlds. And as I was reflecting on this, I was reminded of our Easter candle being lit. And I was thinking of how, if we think of the different time zones across the world, whichever the first place is that lights that Easter candle, that light spreads out from place to place across the world. And if you consider the different traditions that do it later, it continues to spread and spread. And we do it every year with that light spreading further and further into our lives. And just as Jesus calls those first disciples to go and breathes on them the Spirit, he too gives us a new light. So today, as we come to the Eucharist, as we gaze once again on that candle, renew the light within you. Renew the faith, whether it is wavering, whether it is uncertain. Renew that faith once again in experiencing who Jesus is for you, but not just only for you, but for the whole community. In June, we will take time to think about who we are as a church and what we want to do as we move forward into an uncertain future, because the future is always uncertain. But what we do know, above all else, is that light will always be with us. So as we take time to think about who we are, let us remind ourselves that we are people and children of God. And that light has been lit anew within us this Easter. And we will burn brightly wherever we are. whether we are uncertain, whether we are afraid, or whether we are hopeful. That light goes with us from this place, onwards and outwards this day and every day. So let us renew our commitment once again to be followers of the light, who take that light with us wherever we go.